You literally looked at me and I looked at you and you didn't say anything. So.
All right.
It's not really.
I'm saying it's not wrong.
People are not saying
Is it right? No, it's not wrong.
No, it's wrong.
But it's not Walmart.
It's not wrong, but it's
So are you saying LeBron?
All right. Well,
Get away with it.
hey,
Yeah, it's okay.
Pat, we're ready.
I got a bone to pick with this one.
Can I go?
Yes.
Okay. 3,155 games played, 2,025 games won, 83,466 points, 5,183 threes, and 14 championships. These are some combined stats from basketballreference.com on 3 of the greatest NBA players of all time. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and Steph Curry are 3 of the greatest and most influential NBA players that have ever lived. They each changed the game in their own way and are some of the greatest winners and players that we've ever seen. They each have their own individual success, but were also a part of great teams as well. When a lot of people first think of basketball, the first person they think of is Michael Jordan. When Michael Jordan played NBA, and still today, he was not only a basketball icon, but was an icon all across the world, and everybody knew who he was. He was a part of the greatest team of all time. He won 6 NBA championships, all with the Chicago Bulls from 1991 to 1998. He won 5 regular season MVPs and 6 finals MVPs, so every time he was in the finals, he won MVP, and he never lost in the finals. For his career, he averaged over 30 points per game, which is an NBA record and probably will never be broken. Michael Jordan actually had a kind of a weird career. He had 2 retirements, so after his first three-peat with the Chicago Bulls, he retired and attempted to play professional baseball for about a year and a half. So if you can think about that, he was the greatest in the world at his sport. Took a whole year and a half off, put all his efforts into baseball, and then he came back and was still the greatest in the world at his sport. Won 3 more championships in a row with the Bulls. Retired for about another year, came back, played 2 more seasons with the Washington Wizards, which he wasn't very good, and then he called it quits for good. So you might be thinking, all right, I get Michael Jordan's probably the greatest basketball player of all time, but how did he change the game? So Michael Jordan is like really the first big superstar for the NBA. You had guys like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, but they didn't have quite the impact that Jordan did. He made basketball a cool sport and got everyone kind of interested in the game all across the world. Kids, adults, anyone knew Michael Jordan and was inspired by him. He's got moments such as his free throw line dunk here, which is his logo now, not this picture, but all his finals game winners, and of course his shoes, the Air Jordans. Back then they quickly became the most popular shoe, and they were really high demand. Everybody wanted them, and back then they were pretty expensive. And now they're probably the most recognizable shoe that probably exists. Everybody pretty much knows who they are, and he's made memorable moments in them. Jordan left a mark on the NBA that will probably never be matched and paved the way for future stars. When people mention Michael Jordan, they often can't forget to mention Kobe Bryant. Kobe was often considered like a clone of Michael Jordan. Their game styles were somewhat similar, but the competitive drive they both had was really the same. Kobe won 5 rings with the LA Lakers, who he spent his whole career with. He won the 2008 MVP and won 2 finals MVPs. Kobe actually went straight from the high school to the NBA, so that's basically like he was our age and already playing in the NBA with the best basketball players in the world. As soon as he got to the NBA, he was an immediate star, and people knew that he was going to be special. Kobe changed the game because before Kobe got in the league, the NBA was really kind of a fundamental game, a lot of layups, post-ups, mid-range jumpers, stuff like that. Kobe's game was all about creativity and finding the oddest and smallest ways to gain an advantage on his opponent. So Kobe brought creativity to the game. He made it more of a one-on-one game like it is today. His moves like, step backs, fadeaways, as you can see here, those shots really weren't a thing before Kobe came around. He kind of introduced that to the game and showed that you can be successful in different ways. He's inspired people's games today in the NBA, for example, like Jason Tatum, Devin Booker, have really similar games to Kobe. One of my favorite Kobe stories about his competitiveness is in 2013 he was playing against Golden State Warriors. He went to drive to the basket, tore his Achilles, and if you guys don't know, an Achilles tear is one of the most serious injuries you can have. He got up, shot 2 free throws, and then walked off the court on his own power on a torn Achilles, and it wasn't like a fake one. He was out a year after that. So that just shows how tough he was and how much he cared about the game of basketball. In 2012, in an average NBA game, there's an average of 23 shot total for both teams. If you fast forward to 2021, there's an average of 36 3-shot per game. This is all thanks to one guy named Stephen Curry. He was a 6'2", skinny little point guard that attended Davidson College, which is a pretty small D1 school. But he ended up changing the NBA as we know it today, and the game of basketball as a whole. He's made over 2,700 threes in his career at a 42% clip, which is insanely good. He's won 2 MVPs and 3 championships with the Golden State Warriors, and who are considered arguably the greatest team of all time in 2017-18. So Curry really showed us how effective the three-point shot can be and how game-changing it can be. He excels in his three-pointers off the dribble that are insanely impossible. He makes them look effortless. His range extends all the way to half court, and when he gets an open look, it's basically a layup. He really makes shots like these where you can see he's got 3 people guarding him, and he can still make them. Before he came around, people never thought of even shooting that, but now that's about all you see in an NBA game. If you walk into any gym across the world, really, you just see kids that can't even get the ball to the rim trying to shoot three-pointers, trying to be like Steph Curry. And he's given short, small, unathletic kids, kind of like me, he gives them hope by showing them that if you can get really good at one skill, then you're going to have success in whatever you do. Curry will go down as the greatest shooter of all time, without question, in my opinion, and has changed the game of basketball for good. In this day and age, all people want to do is compare and argue about who the best is. You know, Michael Jordan or LeBron, Bulls or Warriors, Steph or Reggie Miller. But after Kobe's passing, we learned that we need to, instead of comparing these great icons of our sports, we need to more appreciate them while they're still around. So I challenge you, whether it's basketball or baseball, music, instead of comparing who the best is, you know, who your favorite is, try to appreciate everyone and respect everyone, no matter what it is.